Welcome to Meet JMT, Insights from Within, a series that introduces our industry professionals and provides them the opportunity to share their professional experiences, personal reflections, and sources of inspiration as individuals working in the architecture, engineering, and construction sectors.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Meet JMT podcast. My name is Jennifer, and I am the Digital Marketing Manager here at JMT, based in our El Paso, Texas office. Today, we have Lauraine Everson as our guest. Lauraine is JMT's Creative Director and Vice President. She works out of the corporate headquarters office in Hunt Valley, Maryland, and she's also been a JMT employee for 35 years now. Thank you for being here today, Lauraine. Would you mind telling our listeners a little bit more about your position here at JMT?
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for having me. I lead our creative services team, which is a group of incredibly talented professional graphic designers and video specialists. My job is to help develop and oversee the concepts and the vision for all the creative projects we do at JMT, and I also help manage our brand. When people ask me what that means to manage our brand, I tell them I am laser focused on consistency, not only with our visuals and our graphics, but the way we message ourselves, our writing, our language, and our communications, and the way we behave and treat clients and each other. All of these elements work together to create a feeling and a reputation for JMT, which is really what a brand is.
Thank you for that additional introduction, and I couldn't agree more. Consistency is key when it comes to maintaining that brand persona. We're going to step back from your current position at GMT and talk about what your inspirations were in choosing your professional career.
So my inspiration came from two places. It came from my father, and believe it or not, it came from JMT engineers. I've always loved art and being creative, and I learned a lot of that from my father. He was a professionally trained artist who taught me how to draw and paint, and he did realism. So everything looked as realistic and perfect as possible. And that's what I did too. Then when I ended up at JMT, I learned a different technical approach to art from our engineers. When I started here at JMT, I ran blueprints through a big blueprint machine. This was back in 1988. I had a bachelor's degree in fine art back then, but I could not find a job as an artist to save my life. They called them starving artists back then for a reason, apparently. After answering an ad in the paper, I got a job at JMT, and I was hired by Fred Murmuran. Yes, that's the M in JMT. And I basically just made copies of engineering drawings. That was my job. Until one day I brought some artwork in because I used to do a lot of portraits. So I brought them in to make copies. And a few people saw them and they told me I should try my hand at drawing the plans myself instead of just making copies of them. I took a shot at it and I ended up loving it. The attention to detail and accuracy was just right up my alley. And from there, I started doing hand-drawn renderings of our projects, and it was just the perfect combination for me. And as computers came along, I learned CAD, and then I taught myself Adobe Photoshop, and I realized over the course of time that our graphics at JMT could really use some consistency and some attention. So I went back to school, and I got a second degree in graphic design. I ended up deciding to write a business plan to grow a team, and I started focusing on creating more visual consistency across the entire company. So long story short, the engineers led me in a technical direction. Without them, I don't think I would have ended up where I am today. Combine that with my artistic skills, it ended up being the perfect combination for graphic design, where everything follows a set of rules and guidelines. And then all of that led me into where I am today as the creative director, managing a team and managing our brand.
This is such an interesting and inspiring story for a number of reasons, but I think it's, just incredible that you were hired by Fred himself and have seen the company grow into what it is today, but also that you've seen this industry evolve, all while embracing those, new tech advancements from the graphic design standpoint. Let's talk more about your professional career. Is there a significant project you've handled, and how has that impacted you, JMT, or even the AEC industry as a whole?
Wow. So there's been probably a lot of projects over my 35 years that I'm proud of. Most of those involve graphics or visuals that I created for our communities to understand our projects. Those are really fun and very rewarding, of course. But I think the main thing that really stands out is I have to say, working directly with Fred Murmuran. again, the M in JMT, to document and memorialize a culture at JMT, one that has really stood this test of time. Fred was the president of JMT for a very long time, and he brought me into the fold way back when, and he asked me to start creating visuals to support this message that he wanted to spread. It was a message of caring, giving back, donating, and really basically just treating each other and our clients with compassion. I'm not sure if he knew it back then, but he really was establishing a brand. He established what he wanted JMT to be known for. And I got to help him do it, which was really very special. And then fast forward years later, it all came full circle when we decided to document our brand and our values and who we wanted to be. So it all stemmed from what Fred started. He began that culture of caring and showing a personal attention to clients and communities and each other. He always focused heavily on giving back to the world and to each other. So when we all decided to sit down and get it on paper and agree on who we were, we pointed back to that culture. And again, memorializing those values and brand was a big accomplishment and not something that many firms in this industry were really doing at that time. I believe that effort was a defining moment and a big part of our success. You need that guiding North Star to follow. And I helped establish that, which felt really good. And it all started with the message that Fred Murmuran wanted to spread. He came up with the JMT logo, believe it or not. He decided what he wanted that to be. It was this rays of sun coming through the M in the JMT. Not sure how many people understand that, but those rays coming through the M, those represent brighter futures, brighter communities, brighter projects, and brighter people. It represents a feeling of JMT doing our part to make the world a better place.
Again, incredibly inspiring. And for those like me who weren't aware of what the rays represented until right now, I think that's a brilliant way to tie in the company's values into everything that JMT is represented on. Moving into your personal life, are there any hobbies or interests outside of work that have influenced your professional journey?
I guess on the personal side, I don't necessarily have a specific story about being influenced, but I can say that I do have one about being treated with respect over the years. As I've said, I have spent my entire career journey at JMT from when I was just a young woman starting out. And being a woman in this industry over the past 3 decades, I have seen a lot of change. Not only am I a woman, but I'm also a gay woman. So I've had to juggle that along the way too. I'm not going to say it's always been easy, but I have never felt that I had to pretend or hide who I am. I've also never felt it would hold me back in any way. I'm proud to say JMT helped me with that. I was never treated differently. I always felt respected and appreciated for what I brought to the table. It was sometimes a fight to be heard in the right rooms, of course, but eventually those glass ceilings broke. I made my way into a vice president role. And now, fast forward, we celebrate diversity and inclusion, and we have an LGBTQIA plus community. It's been quite a journey to watch over time. And I'm proud to say that I was part of that evolution. I'm proud to be a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And I am proud to be a leader here at JMT who can mentor and help guide our company into the future.
Thank you for being so transparent and honest and sharing your story with us. You've inspired me today, but I also think that you're going to inspire others with these words of encouragement. And I want to thank you for being on the Meet JMT podcast. I really enjoyed hearing your story. Are there any closing thoughts you would like to leave our listeners with?
I guess overall, my closing thoughts, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this. I think it's great what you and your team are doing. These podcasts have been fantastic, and they are helping to get the word out on our people and promote some of our people that we don't get to hear from too often, and I think they're wonderful. So kudos to you and your team for doing them. And that kind of reflects back on our brand too. If I'm going to make a plug for our brand, our people are what matters. Our people make up our culture, and getting to know one another and hearing our stories is definitely part of a caring culture. So kudos to your team for doing this. And as far as anything else, I'd say don't forget we have an entire creative team at your service. We're here. We have a whole team of really, really talented individuals who are here to help you and take your technical content and bring it to a level that people can understand and make it accessible. And it's our job here. So we're here to support you and make you shine. We're happy to help. So reach out anytime.
Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the Meet JMT podcast today. Remember to subscribe, post a review, and of course, encourage your friends and colleagues to do the same.